order. Please take your seats. It looks like we have 8 members present, which is a quorum. We'll begin our agenda with the public comment period. We don't have anyone signed up for public comment on the sheet. Is anybody out there in the gallery wishing to address the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee during the public comment period? I am not seeing anyone. I'm seeing some heads shaking back there, so we got nobody, and I will conclude the public comment period. As of right now, I've got everything on our agenda except for item 12, which is RS 2024-874 related to a waste services contamination detection pilot. I've got everything except item 12 on a proposed consent agenda. Are there any other items that we would like to remove from the consent agenda for discussion, questions, comments, anything? All right, seeing none, so I will read the captions of the proposed consent agenda resolutions and legislation, beginning with committee item 1. This is RS 2024-835 by Druffel, Porterfield, and Parker. This supports beautification of a retaining wall located at 264 Old Hickory Boulevard and approving an application for a license agreement between NDOT and the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation. Committee item 2, this is Resolution RS 2024-836 by Porterfield, Gamble, and Parker. This approves Amendment 1 to an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and NDOT for the Charlotte Ave, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard Transit Headways and Congestion Management Project. Committee item 3, RS 2024-837 by Greg, Porterfield, Gamble, and Parker. This approves a 4th amendment to an intergovernmental agreement between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and NDOT for the acceptance of work in connection with the construction of a sidewalk on Lebanon Pike from McGavick Pike to Old Lebanon Pike. Committee item 4, this is RS 2024-838 by Porterfield, Parker, Welsh, and Suara, approves a Reconnecting Communities pilot discretionary grant application from the U.S. Department of Transportation to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through NDOT to improve accessibility, connectivity, and community involvement to ensure that the Nolensville Pike corridor becomes a safer, more efficient, and inclusive transportation hub for all. Committee item 5, this is RS 2024-839 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes H.G. Hill Realty Company, LLC, to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 1929 Broadway. Committee item 6, this is RS 2024-840 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes ALE Hospitality, LLC, DBA The Ariston, ALE Hospitality, to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 508 Church Street. Committee item 7, this is RS 2024-841 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes Sobro 1 Apartments LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 825 6th Avenue South. Committee item 8, this is RS 2024-842 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes Swiftshire Housing Partners LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 1920 Broadway. Committee item 9, this is RS 2024-843 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes Nashville Barrel Company LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 425 Church Street. Committee item 10, this is RS 2024-844 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes RLJ Art Nashville LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 221 2nd Avenue North. Committee item 11, this is RS 2024-846 by Porterfield, Parker, Welsh, Allen, and Ewing. This accepts a grant from the State of Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services Waste Division to develop a series of multilingual recycling education resources. Committee item 13, this is RS 2024-848 by Coop and Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept the replacement of public water main for property located at 110 20th Avenue North, also known as Tempo by Hilton. Committee item 14, this is RS 2024-849 by Gamble and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept a new public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1200 F Phillips Street, also known as 12th and Phillips. Committee item 15, this is RS 2024-850 by Parker and Gamble, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 609 Creative Way, also known as C&I Village Condos, Revision 1. Committee item 16, this is RS 2024-851 by Gamble and Parker. This amends ordinance number BL 2023-30 to authorize the Metropolitan Government to modify the linear feet of sanitary sewer main to be accepted and to accept a new public sanitary sewer force main, additional new sanitary sewer manhole and easements for 3 properties located at 1303, 1401, and 1425 Gallatin Pike, also known as Marlowe Gallatin Pike, Revision 1. Committee item 17, this is RS 2024-852 by Coupin, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public water main and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains and new public sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 912 2nd Avenue North, also known as Stockyards 900 block. Committee item 18, this is RS 2024-853 by Parker and Gamble. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept the removal and replacement of public sanitary sewer mains and sewer manholes for 2 properties located at 600B East Trinity Lane and 3000B Edwin Way, also known as Trinity Flats. Committee item 19, this is BL 2024-587 by Welsh. This is an ordinance providing the honorary street name designation of Jerry Austin Way for a portion of Valeria Street, with a letter to approve from Councilmember Welsh. Committee item 20, this is BL 2024-588 by Stiles, Gamble, and Parker. This amends ordinance number BL 2024-439 to authorize the Metropolitan Government to accept additional public water and sanitary sewer mains, public sanitary sewer manholes, and easements to modify the previous acceptance of water main, and to update map and parcel information for 2 properties located at 1000 Century Farms Circle and Century Farms Circle Unnumbered, also known as Century Farms J Road, Revision 1. Committee item 21, this is BL 2024-589 by Toombs, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public sanitary sewer main, new sanitary sewer manhole, and easement for 2 properties located at 2310B and 2314B 18th Avenue North, also known as 2312 18th Avenue North Sewer Extension. We've got a letter to approve from Councilmember Toombs. Committee item 22, this is BL 2024-590 by Toombs, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at Brick Church Pike Unnumbered and Brick Church Park Drive Unnumbered, also known as Sherwood Homes at Park Preserve. And we have a letter to approve from Councilmember Toombs. Committee item 23, this is BL 2024-591 by Coupin, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public water main, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements, and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 201 Shelby Avenue, also known as the new Nissan Stadium. And lastly, Committee item 24, this is BL 2024-592 by Bradford, Gamble, and Parker. This authorizes the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public water mains, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements, and to accept new public water mains, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for property located at 1 Terminal Drive, also known as BNA, HCA, and SFA hangars. Having heard the items for proposed consent agenda, do any of those items need to come off for question, comments, discussion, clarification? All right, I'm seeing none. If we could please get a motion on the proposed consent agenda and a second. All right, properly moved and seconded. Thank you. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, so we'll take a vote on the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? I recommend approval unanimously and with Coupin. Got 10 present. Thank you. All right, for our single item that was not on consent, we'll go back to committee item 12. This is RS 2024-847 by Porterfield, Parker, Welsh, and Allen. This approves an application for a recycling rebate grant from the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to the Metropolitan Water Services Department to purchase curbside recycling carts and implement a pilot program using AI technology to identify contamination. Can we get a motion in a second on this, please? All right, properly moved and seconded. Like a lot of things in the solid waste space, I always like to have our folks over at the Solid Waste Division just give us an explanation of what this legislation does, what this grant application is about, and how it might work. So if you could please introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about this grant application.
Yes, Jen Harmon with the Waste Services. So this, specifically with the AI portion of the recycling rebate, this is an opportunity to utilize new technology to help us better identify contamination in our recycling stream directly at the cart. So what that means is that there's a camera on our trucks, and utilizing AI and software, that camera is able to then identify things like bagged recycling, plastic bags, garden hoses, other materials that shouldn't be in recycling carts, and then geolocate those so that we get an address back. And then we're able to, as a department, go back and look at, okay, who's put those materials in that cart? What location is this at? And then directly send out education to those residents. So we do a lot of education around not bagging recycling materials, but this is an opportunity to say, we saw this in your cart. Let us, how can we help you better understand, hey, this may not be something that you want to put in your recycling cart. So the program, the pilot is for 3 trucks to see how this could work over a 1-year period.
Thank you for that explanation. I see Councilmember Benedict and then Councilmember Ewing. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to understand, if I could, where the cameras are being pointed to understand what are the, I guess, can I address my question directly to her?
You may.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where exactly will the cameras be pointed? Will they only be pointed towards the materials as, I guess I'm trying to understand, will they be picking up anything exterior to the truck itself?
So this pilot would only be pointing at the materials as they come into the truck. So they're pointing in the truck itself. It's what's called the hopper. So as the material, I have to use my arms. As the material comes in, the camera's pointing straight down, and it looks at the material right there. It also, and then from there, it will identify material. So it's not looking outside of the truck. It's looking in the truck as the material comes in.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Ewing, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. May I address? Okay. Okay, so this sounds really great. I know load contamination is a big issue with recycling, so I'm happy we're trying this out. I'm just curious if other cities have tried this and what the success rate was, what the maybe percentage improvement was, if you know.
Yeah, great question. I'll need to get the exact numbers on percentage improvement, but there are cities, municipalities here in the United States as well as Canada. There's a number of different groups that do this type of technology, and they've seen a decrease in their contamination rate. It's very similar to the OOPS tagging that we've done in the past, where we're able to directly educate folks and see a direct impact from that on reducing contamination. But I will look and see the exact percentage numbers.
Thank you. Seeing no more questions or comments, concerns about this one, thank you for joining us today. We will go to a vote. All those in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval. Still got 10. Thank you. And so last on our agenda, we've got departmental updates and chair's report. So as everyone likely knows, we did a pretty big thing in Nashville last night. Voters approved dedicated transportation funding for the, voters resoundingly approved that measure. And I wanted to just take a moment to thank members of this committee and colleagues throughout the Metro Council for everybody's work on this effort. I know that a lot of us met with the administration early on and shared priorities, concerns, ideas about the program and how it could relate to our district. That was really important work. I know a lot of folks have done important work educating their district and letting folks know what's on the ballot and how important it is that they weigh in on it. So really just can't thank colleagues enough for supporting this massive effort and successfully implementing dedicated funding for this program, which is something that we've been trying to do in Nashville for some time. So huge thank you to colleagues for your work on that. One of the questions that I got throughout the process from constituents and other folks was what is the kind of oversight and reporting, like how do we track this, how will we know what's going on? And we got kind of a timely, my response to a lot of folks was that's going to be a morning after or a day after question, which is understandably not what folks want to hear when they're asking about reporting, accountability, oversight, those kind of things. But we did get a timely press release from the mayor's office today that suggested kind of hints at an approach that we might take toward oversight and tracking of implementation of the program. So I'll read from it. It proposes the commitment to transparency in this process will include at least quarterly updates to the Transportation and Infrastructure, Budget and Finance, and Planning Committees of Metro Council. So I just wanted to have a brief discussion, or at least put it on committee members' radar to be thinking about this as we look toward formalizing this kind of oversight, accountability structure for the Metro Council. What the mayor has put in this press release is essentially setting a floor of quarterly. So that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be more often when necessary than quarterly, but it means that at least quarterly we would have updates to those three committees. I'll talk with the other chairs of those committees and see if we maybe want to do a joint quarterly meeting, if that makes sense. But do folks feel like that idea of the quarterly reporting to the three committees is in the ballpark? Do you have thoughts, anything you'd like to add in this context? Councilmember Allen, Councilmember Benedict. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I think a quarterly meeting is good just as or at least a quarterly update to each of the committees. And I would like at least maybe once a year or something to have a full out special called meeting where we could actually hear a lot of what's happened and that type of thing. So that's one thought.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. So the frequency sounds good to me. I guess my question would be, what are the KPIs that we're going to be reviewing in those, and to make sure that we're going to capture what the committee's looking for, so that the mayor's office doesn't have to, continually. Anyway, I guess my main question is, what would those KPIs be, so that we can make sure we're measuring the success of the program the way our constituents would like to hear it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's great feedback. If I can go to the administration table for a moment, if you could tell us a little bit about how y'all are thinking about this, and if council members have suggestions or feedback, who should they talk to in the mayor's office about it?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the mayor spoke to this a little bit this morning at a press availability. It was our hope to work with you, Chairman, and also the chair of the Budget Finance Committee to figure out, to lay out parameters for an advisory committee to go through the implementation, regularly, quarterly updates from the transit implementation team, the transit improvement program implementation team as it goes, and then provide additional updates on in a more extensive way annually or whatever frequency the council sees fit. We have not gotten into KPIs or anything like that, and we welcome recommendations on things that you're going to want to hear along the way. But we're looking forward to having those conversations over the next week or so, if you're available.
I will be, and I look forward to that. And so other members, who would they reach out to in the mayor's office if they had specific ideas or suggestions or questions?
You can feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Mr. Rosenberg, thank you. All right. Any other thoughts, comments about that oversight and implementation and tracking and all that exciting stuff that we're going to get to do for the next few years? All right. I'm seeing none. Well, that was all I had for the meeting, so I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.